Chapter 91, Rack and Roll, Shadows of Centris. So not only are you four girls going to party together, but you're going to be watched. Cooperation means you get interrogated and dealt with civilly. Fighting against us means you get maimed and then interrogated and dealt with harshly. Understand? Koa threatens the four girls that had been controlling this airship as Amadi Speed reads the pilot's manual, and Reggie actually flies the ship with a fair amount of competency. He hadn't let anyone touch his endless barrage, and it was in the seat next to him as Amadi leaned against it and studied for one hell of a pass-fail test. "Oh hey, these are your blinkers," Amadi says, gesturing to a series of 9 tiny unlabeled buttons on the dashboard. The middle 3 are what you get in a car, and the top and bottom 3 are what you need to put into 3 dimensions. Going up left and right and such, get it? Got it, Reggie remarks as he makes use of them to merge with traffic at a higher level. Good. Most of this is pretty intuitive. Designed to be as idiot-proof as possible, but I'm still looking for surprises. Amadi notes as he turns the page and keeps going. "Gentlemen, do you read?" Control asks through their comms. "Trooper Jackson here, speaking for the team. The other 2 are fairly well occupied." Koa answers, not taking his eyes off the 4 women tied together. "Confirmed. We lost track of you when you extracted. Report." There were 4 controllers of the enemy vessel. Technician Pike has a good grasp of its controls, and Medic Adagok is going over its manual to make sure there are no surprises. We were planning on circling the city for a time while waiting to re-establish contact. Very good. What about the captives? 4 near Trets, all female, unusual skin tones on 2 of them in bright and pale blue, another appears Caucasian, and the last one seems African. Unusual effects in the skin and hair. The blues are at opposite extremes of the temperature spectrum. White girls got electricity, and the brownie seems to be armor-coated. These effects are most obvious in the hair. One of the blues seems to have her head on fire, the other looks like snow. After that is the white girl with a storm cloud on her head, and the last one seems to have shiny rocks growing out of it. Koa explains. "Confirmed you're dealing with Arumenta. The code is Beta Michael Omega 1 over 100 number 55. We've got decimal points, but you've got 4 of the nearly dozen types. They're known for extreme competence with elemental axiom. Your basic description lets you know what each of the 4 are capable of. What countermeasures have you taken?" "We've tied them tightly together. Any funny business from any of them will hurt each other first and foremost. If they give even the slightest rat's ass about each other, it will keep them compliant for a while." Koa reports. "Confirmed, we're currently initiating Operation Cloak for you and your vessel. Congratulations, boys. You get to be the test subjects of our newest toys from the lab," Control says, and a nervous look passes between the 3 men. "Can we get some clarification on that, sir?" Amadi asks with a touch of fear in his voice. "Nothing big. We've got powerful magnet attached to a transceiver with a database. Piggyback it into your own ship's signals and its IFF changes entirely, so any scans tells people that it's another ship, a social cloak." "Waiting for the other shoe to drop, sir," Amadi prompts. "There isn't one. We're going to have you pass by an agent that will tag your vessel with the device. You will then use it to vanish into the crowds by shifting your transceiver codes and registration repeatedly until you lose all pursuit, and then you will be bringing your new toys and friends to the Dauntless." "Understood?" Control asks. "Sir, yes, sir." All 3 soldiers bark out. "Good men. Stand by for further details," Control says. "That went well," Amadi says, speeding up his reading to straight-up skimming as he races to the section about the transceiver and other such delicate, important equipment. "Think we'll be getting the toys back?" Reggie asks. "Probably not, but you never know. Nothing to be lost by asking about it." Amadi notes as he quickly reads through the instructions on the transceiver and how to modulate it appropriately. Okay, so they've worked very hard to idiot-proof the entire ship from the front to the back. This should be very straightforward once we get our new add-on. He notes before pointing at a set of dials and switches with a cover. By the way, those control the weapon systems. Intensity and whether they're off and on, left for the left laser cannon and right for the right. Very straightforward. Those buttons on the top of the control sticks need to be uncovered and then pressed to fire. Hopefully we won't need to use them. I can fly this thing, but I don't think I could pull off a dogfight in a cramped urban environment, Reggie remarks. Better to know it and not need it than the other way. Amadi replies. Amen, brothers. Koa remarks as he watches the four, now seemingly calm and resigned. Aramenta women watch him and the boys right back. They make little mutters and gestures that the others seem to understand, the sign that these four have known each other for a long time and are very comfortable with each other. A small conversation happens between the three made of murmuring, tone of voice and a shrug that concludes with some laughter. You ladies are quite confident for prisoners heading to a military vessel to be interrogated. Koa notes calmly and the girls all just laugh some more. I'm sure the intelligence division will love to get in on the joke. Gentlemen, do you read? Control asks. This is Trooper Jackson. Go ahead, Control. Koa replies. We have our man in position. Head between Spires Altiera and Maximuma at level 37. Strafe closer to Altiera, but do not interrupt the flow of traffic. Control orders. Confirmed. We're coming in. ETA 3 minutes. Reggie remarks, and he has the vessel slowly start to climb levels between the spires. They quickly reach the 37th and blast forward following the tiny map on the dashboard. We're coming up on Spire Altiera. Flash your signals. You blend in too much for me to take the shot. The man on the ground says, and after smacking the other man's hand away, Reggie presses the central button in the little bundle of 9 that Amadi had indicated earlier. He shoots the medic a dirty look, and he merely shrugs. All right, I see you. Hold your current flight pattern, the man on the ground says. Moments later, there's the sound of something hitting the ship. I've got you. Confirm the device's functionality. Hang on a moment, Amadi says, reaching over the seat with the endless barrage and pressing a few buttons. Confirmed. We've got the transceiver, scrambling our signal now. He says quickly, pressing about a dozen buttons and turning a dial somewhat. That's what you call a straightforward system? Reggie asks. Amadi gives him an odd look. You've fallen off the grid. Shift a few more times and then sink back in under the 5th registration on the system. After that, head to the Dauntless, docking bay 4. Control orders them. Confirmed. We're going to wait random intervals to switch the registries. We'll be at the Dauntless shortly, Amadi says, and he grabs the endless barrage and puts it into Reggie's lap before slipping into the co-pilot's seat. He ignores the dirty look for touching the other man's toy as he starts fiddling with the system and puts it all on a few timers. 5 seconds, and then 120 seconds, 20 seconds, and then 2 seconds for the 5th and final code. What in the? This last code has the ship registered as the Felon Melon? That's hilarious. Amadi notes and Koa chuckles at the idea. What are the other ones? Reggie asks. The Troller Skate, the Whodunit, the Wazit, and we're currently the UFO. One of my people put this together, Amadi says smugly. Africans? Koa asks. Nerds, Amadi replies with an enormous smile. All right, nerd boy. Just let me know if I'm about to hit the self-destruct or something. This ship goes easily enough, but if you're in the co-pilot seat, then you're going to be watching for and preventing fuck-ups, Reggie says, and Amadi nods as he looks over all the dials about speed, local wind conditions, and many other variables. Hey, they've got a cooler, Amadi notes a minute later as he opens a small compartment. Oh my God, this has 0.1% alcohol. It's got all the kick of a Shirley Temple. Those are non-alcoholic, Reggie remarks, and a beer has 5% and can still be considered barely a proper drink. This is 50 times weaker than the stuff I can buy in a grocery store back home. I could drown in this shit before I get a buzz out of it. Amadi notes. Could you focus and do your damn job? Koa snaps at him and he drops the drink back into the cooler and snaps it shut. Thank you. Reggie just chuckles at the byplay as he powers down the endless barrage as things are going nice and smooth at this point. Not to mention what's basically a handheld Gatling gun made of bazookas is not something you want in tight quarters. Either fired at you or fired by you, it will fuck you up. The next few minutes pass quietly and the Felon Melon, a second-hand refurbished ship bought earlier that day, according to the registration, pulled into the Dauntless's fourth docking bay. The ship swoops in and lands softly to the mild gloating of its pilot. The door opens and 4 women brimming with elemental energies are carefully guided down the ramp. Their hands are bound behind their backs, their waists together, and a singular rope over each of their mouths. The one with glowing hair could easily break out, but only if she were to brutally burn the one with clouds for hair, and the one with crystals growing in hers. A situation shared by all 4. Each one could break out easily, but only if she were to horribly hurt the others. That had kept them all very cooperative. Soldiers are lined up with weapons at the ready as they're guided off and have their weapons pointed at them. There's a bit of entertainment to the side as Reggie kisses the endless barrage goodbye before placing it on a tray being held in front of him. The girls are separated and marched off at gunpoint, all compliant as the 3 men head off for a debriefing and to start their mission reports. It'll be a doozy today.